When you hear the name Unabomber, your mind probably jumps straight to the crimes, right? To the investigation. But to really get what happened, you have to go back way before any of that. So this isn't going to be a simple recap of the case. Think of it more as a psychological origin story.
Exactly. To understand the root of it all, we can't start with an explosion. The real beginning is actually a lot quieter. And in many ways, it's far more unsettling.
And that's the puzzle at the heart of this whole thing. A brilliant kid, a math genius at Harvard who was on the fast track to a legendary academic career. So how does that person become who he became? That's the journey we're going to trace.
Okay, so first, let's set the stage. Before the remote cabin in the woods, before the manifesto, there was just Ted Kaczynski, the prodigy. This was the person he was supposed to be.
I mean, look at this. On paper, his early life is the blueprint for success, just on hyperspeed. He gets into Harvard when he's only 16. He's hailed for his incredible mind, and he becomes a university professor in no time. But something happened at Harvard that wasn't on the official curriculum. As a sophomore, he took part in this pretty controversial psychological study. Now, he didn't know it, but it was actually tied to the CIA's MKUltra project. For months, he was subjected to these really brutal, humiliating verbal attacks, all designed to break down his ego. And this experience planted some very deep seeds of rage against authority and systems of control.
And then came the pivot. This is the moment where the story just completely fractures. This wasn't some slow fade out of his career. No, this was a sudden, very deliberate choice to walk away from absolutely everything he had built.
You can see it right here. It's like a fork in the road. On one side, you have the expected path, respected professor, a comfortable life inside the very system he was mastering. And on the other side is the path he took. He didn't just quit his job. He quit society. He made a choice to step completely outside of it.
So what does a life like that even look like? Well, we're not talking about a simple move to the countryside. This was a calculated, total separation from the world.
He built this cabin himself. We're talking a tiny 10 by 12 foot plywood box way out in the middle of nowhere in Montana. I mean, just imagine the commitment here. No electricity, so he's reading by candlelight. No running water, he's hauling it from a creek. He taught himself how to hunt, how to live on almost no money, and this is the key part, with no other people. This was a carefully engineered life of pure solitude.
And this is where a little psychology helps us understand what's happening. See, extreme isolation isn't just a neutral state. It basically acts like a giant echo chamber for your own mind. It takes whatever ideas and resentments you already have and just turns up the volume, while stripping away all the social things, like empathy, that normally keep our views in check. His new home, it was the perfect pressure cooker for his worldview. So once the physical isolation was in place, he started building an intellectual one. His anger and his resentment weren't just feelings anymore. They were starting to harden into a real, structured ideology.
And this is a direct result of that echo chamber we were just talking about. With absolutely no one around to challenge him, his hatred for industrial society didn't just bubble under the surface. It was being refined, sharpened, and made more absolute every single day.
And here, you can see the cold, step-by-step logic that he built for himself. From his point of view, this all made perfect sense. Step 1, technology is a control system. Step 2, it's destroying our freedom. Step 3, and this one is crucial, it can't be fixed. And once you accept that, well, that final step is where everything changes. Violence, in his mind, was no longer just an option, it was a logical necessity.
This really boils it all down, doesn't it? It's a powerful two-part belief. First, technology is the enemy destroying human freedom. Second, the only way to stop it is through violence. And that right there, that became the core justification for everything that was about to happen.
So all the pieces are in place. The isolation is total, the ideology is set in stone, the path is now clear, and the psychological journey we've been following is about to lead to its inevitable and violent conclusion.
17 years! That's how long the bombing campaign that was born in that tiny cabin would go on. It's an important number because it shows this wasn't just some brief, chaotic rage. It was a sustained, nearly 2-decade-long war waged by one man against the entire system he'd left behind.
And that's it. The transformation is complete. He's no longer just an outcast or a recluse. In his own mind, he's a revolutionary fighting a just war. While the world would come to see a terrorist, he saw himself as a soldier.
And that's the central question of this whole story, isn't it?
It's a huge paradox. The man who wanted absolutely nothing to do with the world became obsessed with changing it in the most violent way possible. His actions were a direct consequence of the psychological path we've just walked through.
And that is where this very private, internal journey explodes onto the world stage. The quiet transformation of one brilliant mind hiding out in the Montana wilderness would end up triggering a massive federal response, and it would hold the entire nation in fear for years. The man who tried his best to disappear from society ended up commanding its full, undivided attention.